ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्त वेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यत इति मे निश्चिता मतिः। We are analyzing if really there is a mumukshu who will take up the study of this text. The argument started with the beginning or the composition of this text is purposeless. Even though you are writing this text, it is futile. Why is it futile? It was the arguments or the questions that were raised were based on different topics. First, the argument was raised based on the definition of moksha. The definition of moksha itself is wrong. Therefore, the one who will desire moksha, liberation, will not be there, and because a mumukshu cannot be there, the composition of this text is futile. For which, how the definition of moksha, atyantika dukkha nivrutti paramananda vapti, by removing all sorrows by negation of the entire creation and gaining of Brahmajnana, was told, emphasized and established. After which an argument was raised, yes, that may be true, but the qualification that is required, that qualification is not seen. The person will not take up study of this text. For which three questions were raised. Okay, tell me for which of the following reason the person will not take up study of this particular text. Either this text cannot lead to liberation, either this text cannot lead to liberation, or there are other better texts by which person will gain liberation, moksha, or mumukshu himself is not there. Mumukshu endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti himself is not there, of which the first one was answered, that even though there are many other, this text will lead to liberation. How will it lead to liberation? It will lead to liberation by helping a mumukshu in Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. So, Shravana Manana Nididhyasana in secondary sense will lead to Brahmajnana. How they will lead to Brahmajnana? By removing the obstructions in gaining Brahmajnana. That way, this text is useful, will lead to liberation, and because this text can lead to liberation, the person will take up study of this particular text. Now you may say there are other texts which are better than this one, which are more ancient, were written by the acharyas who were before you, more proficient, more in depth. What about those? So the answer is given, yes, there are such texts, but the thing is, those texts are very much in detail. To understand those texts, certain qualification is required, and someone who is mandamati, mandamati as in the one who is a viveki, the one who does not have enough vairagya, etc., for him to learn those texts, to study those texts will be difficult. It will be difficult for them to understand because this original composition of this text is in Hindi. In Hindi, author has said, not many people know Sanskrit. So, for those who don't understand Sanskrit that well, this composition is going to help. Later, how this text is important will be emphasized. In Sanskrit, if we are to say, how many of us know Sanskrit but understand those texts? No. Upanishadic language. So, the Sanskrit, which how it has been explained in Upanishads, it is difficult to comprehend and understand for us because we don't know the portion which was before, which has come before or which has come later, for which we need bhashya, etc. And even if we read bhashya, the purpose and the purport of that bhashya, it is difficult to comprehend and understand. Therefore, it is said, यद्यप्यस्य ग्रन्थस्य मोक्षहेतुत्वम् अस्ति तथापि प्राचीनैः प्रौढग्रन्थान्तरैः साधनतमैः मोक्षोपायस्य सम्यक् प्रतिपादितत्वात् विफलोऽयं ग्रन्थ इति वदन् वादी प्रष्टव्यः. Yes, if you say that there are texts which are much more ancient and much more better, to you I ask this question. Which are those texts? If you say those are Upanishads, the commentaries that have been written on those Upanishads, Brahma Sutra, Bhashya, etc., then we accept. Of course, person who studies those texts will gain liberation. But the problem is not everyone is capable of taking to study of those texts and understand what has been told in that. We need certain qualification. But this text is helpful for mandamatinam tivratar mumukshunam. Those who don't have that quality or capacity to understand the Sanskrit, the arguments which have been told in those texts, but they are tivra mumukshu. They have intense desire for liberation. They are desirous of moksha. And that desire is not lame. It is intense, tivra. For those mumukshus who have tivra mumuksha, tivra mokshecha, those who have intense desire for liberation but lack the intellectual capacity to understand those higher texts, for them this text is going to be helpful. So, the composition of this text is not purposeless. Now, next argument is being answered. Next question is being answered. What was that question? It was said, Praudha Grantha Mandamatina Mumukshunam Bodhanudayadayam Grantha यद्यपि तेषां मोक्षोपयोगी स्यात् तथापि मुमुक्षामात्रेण अस्मिन् ग्रन्थे प्रवृत्तिः न जायेत. Even though those people who are incapable of comprehending that which has been told on those higher texts, difficult texts, for such mumukshus, for such desirous of liberation, this grantha, this text may give knowledge, may give that required knowledge. But just because it is helpful, it is conducive for gaining moksha, does not mean they will take up study of this text. It's a very beautiful argument. Just because it is helpful, person is not going to take up that. Why? A certain qualification, desire is required. Is it not? Mumuksha matrena, just because they have intense desire for liberation, that person is not going to take up study of this text. Granthe pravrutti na jayeta. Viveka, then what is your exact argument? What are you trying to say? It is said, Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadamadi, Sadhana Kalapa Yukta, Mumukshu Jana Sambhavat, iti Shankamanaha Vikalpyate. Now, sir, please tell me, why do you say that person will not take up study of this text even though this text can lead to liberation? The person has mumuksha. Sir, so he says, Viveka, discriminatory power of intellect. Vairagya, dispassion. Shama, Dama, etc. Control over mind, control over senses. Ita ityadi sadhana kalapayukta. Sadhana kalapayukta, sadhana kalapayukta, all these required. So, sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, 4 qualification. The person who lacks all these assemblage of qualification. A group. Kalapa is a group. So, the one who lacks all these qualification, or the one who has qualification. Here is Kalapa Yukta Mumukshu Jana Asambhavat. Asambhava, impossibility. Mumukshu Jana, desirous of liberation. Okay, we accept they are desirous of liberation. This text is going to give liberation. But the problem is, those desirous of liberation are not endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. And because they are not endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, they will not take up study of this text. Why? If person does not have sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, why will he inquire into his own swarupa or swarupa of Brahman? Yes, from your earlier definition, because everybody is desirous of happiness devoid of sorrow. And that definition is applicable to all, even though their means are different. If you go back and remember, the author of this text said, everybody in a way or the other is desirous of moksha. Why? Because definition of moksha is atyantika dukkha nivrutti paramananda prapti, and even though their means may be different, everybody desires for atyantika dukkha nivrutti paramananda prapti. Somebody may take to Vishayas, somebody may take to Yajna Yagadi, etc. anything. But that does not mean those people have sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. So they are mumukshu. But because they don't have sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, they will not take up to the inquiry into Brahman for moksha. That's the argument. Person may be mumukshu, but if he does not know, for moksha he needs to take up inquiry into nature of Brahman, nature of Atma, their Aikya, etc. Why will he take up study of this text? Because what is the Vishaya topic of this text? Brahma Atma Aikya. Why would he come to you? Because he has not taken up Brahma Atma Aikya as means of liberation. That's why person who has mumuksha but does not have enough sadhana chatushtaya sampatti will not take up study of this text. And we say, the questioner is saying, there is asambhava, impossibility of a person who is mumukshu and is endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. If such is the case, then please tell me. Now, the counter question is given. Okay. If you say, person who, the existence of a person endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti and who is mumukshu is impossible. Such a person does not exist. Then we ask you, vikalpyate. If somebody raises such question, vikalpyate. To him, counter question is given. Two options are given. What are they? Kim adhikarinah bahavaha na santi uta naikopiti. When you say it is impossible for such person to exist, what do you mean by impossible, asambhava? Do you mean that not many people will be there, but very few will be there? Kim adhikarinah bahavaha na santi. Is it that there are not many people who are endowed with such sadhana chatushtaya sampatti? Or na ekaha api iti. There is not even a single person who is endowed with all these. If you say there are not many people, we accept. We have never said that everybody is endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Adya ishtapattihi. Sarvavadi sampratipatte. Everybody has accepted and everybody has come to conclusion. Sampratipatte, coming to and same or ending of an argument where everybody has accepted, coming to accepting the one siddhanta. What is that? Not everybody is sadhana chatushtaya sampatti yukta. So not there aren't many adhikaris, but there are few. So if you say there are asambhava means there aren't many, we accept. That's what we are trying to say. But if you say there is not even a single person who is endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, then we say na dvitiyaha. The second statement is wrong. What is that? To say that there is not even a single person who is endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. ज्ञानयोग्याधिकार्येव नास्ति इति एतत् असंगतमेव. A person who is not qualified for gaining Brahmajnana, Atmajnana. There is no person who is endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti to gain Brahmajnana, Atmajnana. Such is not the case. To say in conclusion, if you say Jnana Yogya Adhikari eva, Jnana Yogya, a person who is qualified for gaining Brahmajnana. Na asti, itself is not there. Iti etat asangatam eva is wrong. Why? Now explanation is being given. How have we come to this? Simple. If you say person needs not just mumuksha, desire for liberation, but also sadhana chatushtaya sampatti to take up study of this text, yes, it is true. You need certain amount of sadhana chatushtaya sampatti to take up study of this text. But if you say such a person who is endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is impossible to exist, then we ask you, is it that there are not many people, or is it that there is not even a single person? If you say there aren't many people, we have accepted. That's what we say. But if you say there is not even a single person, that is wrong. How is it wrong? Understand. तथा हि सर्वेषामप्यन्तःकरणं निसर्गत एव मलविक्षेप स्वरूपावरणाख्य दोषत्रय दूषितं वर्तते. तथा हि, why do we say that? Because no one, or it is impossible for even a single fellow to be there. सर्वेषामपि अंतःकरणम, everybody's antahkarana, mind, etc. Nisargata eva, by birth. Nisargata, understand again, nisargataha, naisargika means causeless. It is as it is. You can't find its root cause. Whenever in Vedanta it is said, it is naisargika, or even in English, if we say it is natural. So what do we mean by it is natural? We in general context, in general parlance, we say it is easy for him. But that is not the meaning, or that is not the purpose there. What do we mean by natural? He has not put forth any effort to achieve that particular qualification or state. There is no immediate cause available to explain how is he very good in that particular activity or in that particular case. Say if somebody who is very good at chess, we say it is playing chess is natural for him. What do we mean by natural? We cannot find any particular cause because of which he is very good. So his qualification or his capacity or efficiency in playing chess is causeless. That's what is meant by nisargataha. There is no reason because of which antahkarana is mixed with full of mala vikshepa swarupa avaranakhya doshatraya dushitam vartate. By birth, since time immemorial, since there has been creation, all those who are born, their mind, their antahkarana is full of mala, vikshepa, swaswarupa avaranakhya doshatraya dushitam. It has mala, it has vikshepa, and it has avarana. Avarana, covering. What is covered? Swaswarupa. They don't know their own true nature. By these three defects, it is polluted. Dushitam. We had seen these are the defects which are there, which exist in everybody's mind. What are these three defects? Author says, Malam, Papam. Mala is Papa. Papa is Papatmaka Pravrutti. Taking to Nishiddha Karma or taking to Sakama Karma. Vikshepaha Chanchalyam. The unsteadiness of mind. The agitations of mind. Or running after vishayas, running after something which is not going to be helpful. That is chanchalyam. Avaranam swarupadnyanam. Ignorance of one's true nature is avarana. How will these three defects be removed? Tatra shubhakarmana malasya upasanaya vikshepasya ज्ञानेन स्वरूपावरणस्य च निवृत्तिर्जायते एव. These three defects are removed by these three solutions or means. How do you remove mala? Mala is removed by shubha karma. A very beautiful example once was given to one of the person to me. When he said, imagine, how are you going to purify your mind? Imagine there is a large vessel or container the size of you or the height of you just next to you. There is a large container of glass, say like a beaker or a measuring cylinder kind of a thing. Its height is same as you and that is standing next to you. You cannot shake that thing. You cannot tilt that thing. You cannot go inside that. But there is a way to pour water inside, and there is a way to take that water out. Now, if you are to clean that container, and the water will come out of the top only, not from bottom. Now, if you are to clean that container, what can you do? Just go on pouring water. What will happen? Once you start pouring water, the dirt or the mud which is inside will get cleaned, but it will not get cleaned away completely at one pouring. Just go on pouring till the water keeps on overflowing with all the mud inside. And there will be a time when the muddy water will stop coming out, and only the water which is being poured in will start coming out. That's what happens when you go on doing Shubha Karma. Shubha Karma, take Karma Yoga, etc. In many ways it can be explained or connected. Go on doing Kartavya Karma. Stop doing Nishiddha Karma, Sakama Karma. Go on doing Nitya Naimittika Karma. Nitya Naimittika Karma, those which you have to do. Your Kartavya, those which are your duties. Once you go on performing those duties without the desire for phala, desire for fruits of those actions, what's going to happen? Your tendencies to run after Vishayas is going to get reduced. Why? Because they don't have place to stay in your mind. But you have, just by doing this once, it is not going to be helpful. Just go on doing again and again, till automatically all those tendencies have gone away. This is Shubha Karmana Malasya. Of course, this sounds easy, but this is going to take many births. And don't feel bad about yourself, because we have performed Shubha Karma for many births. Right now we are studying this text. So we are halfway there. Upasanaya next. Upasanaya Vikshepasya. But the problem is we are studying this text, but we are not focused. So we need to do Upasana. Why? It is easy. And okay, again, this is an interesting example. You know, horror movies or any suspense movies or thrillers, how do they thrive and survive? They thrive and survive on fear of the viewer's mind. They don't have to do anything at all. They just have to create a reason or a cause for the fear in viewer's mind to come out. A person who is watching that particular thriller movie or a horror movie, because he is completely focused in what's happening in that movie, he feels that fear or he feels afraid. He gets afraid. But try, if you want to, any movie that you think is a suspense movie or a horror movie or even a comedy movie also, let it continue, but just don't pay attention at all. You are not going to have any effect. Why? Vikshepa. Because you are not focused on that which is to be known, that which is to be experienced per se. How is it going to affect you? Your mind is not sthira in that particular object. So, if our mind is not focused in Brahman which is to be known, what is going to happen? We are not going to reach that. That is Vikshepa. We keep on going towards Vishayas. So, by doing Upasana, step by step, we have to train our mind to focus in our Dheya, Jnaya Vastu. What I desire is Brahman and Brahman alone, nothing else, for which upasana is required. Now this upasana is of many types, saguna, nirguna, etc. But those all, they help. We had seen one example with reference to upasana. The lamp and the jewel. How upasana is going to lead me to Brahma-jnana. There we had seen a jewel which was shining dark in distance. We thought what is that? It is a lamp. We went there, and what did we find? We found the jewel there. Or other way around. The example was, you see light in distance. Now you think that light is either lamp or jewel. Now you have seen light. You think, no, it's not lamp, it is a jewel which is shining, and you go after that jewel. Now when you reach that particular spot, if you find lamp, you feel sorrowful. By seeing light, you gained lamp. But by seeing light, if you really gain that gem, then you are happy. Now, is it that you saw lamp and went after that? No. You saw the light which was coming, and in light, you had the idea that it is a gem. Now, light cannot be gem, but yet you said that light is gem. Similarly, that which is meditated upon, that on which we do upasana, is not Brahman. But when that upasana culminates, when it reaches its conclusion, there the Brahman is available for experience, provided you have enough vairagya, etc. So upasanaya vikshepa is removed. And ultimately jnanena swaswarupavarnasya cha nivrittirjayate eva. And by knowledge, swaswarupavarna, the avarana, the veiling, the covering over the knowledge of one's own true nature, is removed by jnana. Yasyantahkarane malavikshepaadi doshaha santi nasa adhikari iti siddham. The one in whose antahkarana, in whose mind, all these three defects are there: mala, vikshepa, and avarana. He is not an adhikari. It is siddha. It has been established. But yasya tu punaha iha janmani janmantareva अनुष्ठित शुभकर्मोपासनादिभिः मलविक्षेपादि दोषान्तःकरण निवृत्ताः स एव वेदांत विचार जनित ज्ञाने मुख्यो योग्याधिकारी भवति तस्यास्मिन् ग्रन्थे जायेतैव प्रवृत्तिः. But the person who has iha janmani janmantareva, in this birth or earlier births, anusthita shubhakarmopasanadibhihi, who has performed anusthana, who has repeatedly taken to shubha karma and upasana, and by taking to performance of good actions, shubha karma and upasana, taking to upasana, who has washed off the dosha, which are those dosha, mala and vikshepa, from his own mind, malavikshepadidoshaha antahkaranat nivruttaha. The one whose these defects have been washed off from his antahkarana. Saha eva, he alone, Vedanta vichara janita jnane, the knowledge which is gained on account of vichara, enquiry, or listening to Mahavakya in which has been told in Vedanta. So Vedanta vichara both can be taken listening to Mahavakya from a competent guru, or taking to enquiry for removing Pramana Sambhavana, Prameya Sambhavana, etc. So Shravana in primary sense or Shravana in secondary sense, both way. Such a person will be Jnane. For that Brahma Jnane, Mukhyaha Yogyaha Adhikari Bhavati. He will be the well qualified, or as it has been defined. He will have those qualities which will lead him to gaining Brahma Jnana, Brahma Sakshatkara. And such a person, tasya asmin granthe jayetaiva pravrittihi. He will have desire to take up study this text. He will take up inquiry or study of this text, inquiry into this text or study of this text. So your argument, yes, person who is endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti is impossible to find. There is not even a single person. It's not so. The person who has done enough shubha karma and upasana, whose mala vikshepadi dosha, the defects in his mind have been washed off, he will take up study of this text. So that argument also has been answered. Now, author says, I know, but you still doubt my answer. For which, let me give you some detailed explanation. Pamara Vishayinor Lakshanam. You had said that why is it impossible for a person who is endowed with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti to exist? Because everybody desires Vishaya Sukha, and because they are drowning in enjoying all those Vishayas, they are knee deep or totally drowned in those, they will not even think for once to take up inquiry. For which now the answer is being given. Yattu uktam, that which you had said, sarvepi vishasukha eva. Everybody desires happiness which comes from Vishayas. Of course, this part has been answered in different way the earlier. Just because they desire for Vishaya Sukha does not mean they will not desire for liberation. That was answer based on the similarity. Even though they are experiencing Vishaya Sukha, in reality they are experiencing Atma Sukha. And when they will understand that Vishaya Sukha is superimposed and Atma Sukha is real, they will desire moksha. That was the argument there. Here argument is different. Because they desire Vishaya Sukha and they are enjoying that Vishaya Sukha, they will not desire for Niratishaya Sukha itself. They will not even think for it once. Vishaya Sukha saktaha eva na kopi nitya niratishaya sukham vanchati iti. No one will desire for sukha, happiness, which is nitya, eternal, Niratishaya unsurpassed. If you say so, tanna, that's not the case. Pamaraha vishaye jinyasur muktascha iti. Loke chaturvidhaha purushaha. There are four types of people in this world. Pamaraha, one who is Pamara, lowliest of the low. Vishayi, a desirous. Jidnyasu, a inquisitive. Mukta, a liberated. What is the definition of all these? Simple. Tatra vihita pratishidheshu ऐहिक विषय भोगेष्वासक्तः सन् शास्त्रीय संस्कार शून्यो यः सः पामरः. He is desirous of liberation. No, not desirous of liberation. He is desirous of vishayas. But which vishayas? Which sense objects or sense pleasures does he want? Which are available in this world here right now. He is desirous of those vishayas which are available in this world here right now. And it's not just that. He is shastriya sanskara shunyah and vihita pratishidheshu asaktah. He does not care if that has been enjoined by Vedas or not, if it is right or wrong. He just desires for those sense pleasures. It doesn't matter from where they come. Do they come from good deeds or do they come from adharma? He is not concerned about it at all. Shastriya samskara shunya. He does not have any samskara, any understanding of Shastra. Such a person is Pamara. Why? His contrast is in Vishayi. By that we will understand who is Pamara and who is Vishayi. Shastranusari Vishay Bhogan Bhunjanaha San Ihamutrartha Phalabhoga Vaptaye Karma Kurvanaha Vishayi. The one who understands the consequences of performing bad actions or wrong karma, adharma, papa karma, and who tries to avoid papa karma. How does he avoid papa karma? Shastranusari Vishaya Bhogan Bhunjanaha. He desires for only those Vishayas which have been enjoined by Shastra or according to Shastra. So he will stick to those particular rules, and by sticking to those rules, he will enjoy all the bhogas which are available here and hereafter. Iha amutra, in this world, and amutra swargadika loka. And to gain those sense pleasures, karma kurvanaha, goes on performing action, he is vishayi. So one who sticks to those rule set of principles and enjoys, and there is one who cares about nothing, who is careless. He just wants to desire. That is a pamara. Here this person is vishayi. Let me just quickly give you the definition of jidnyasu. In detail, all these three we will see again next time. जिज्ञासु लक्षणम यत्तु शास्त्रीयोत्तम संस्कार बलात् अध्यात्मादि सच्छास्त्र श्रवणं करोति तस्य वक्ष्यमाण रीत्या विवेको जायते तथा विवेकः यस्य भवति स एव जिज्ञासुः. And because who has शास्त्रीयोत्तम संस्कार बलात्, very good संस्कार of Shastra, the one who has understood Shastra in depth. Samskara is impression, repeatedly understood, repeatedly listened to these Shastra, Vedanta, Veda, etc., everything. And because of those samskara balat, Adhyatmadi Satshastra Shravanam Karoti. He takes up listening to Adhyatma. So he does not limit his inquiry into how should I go to Swarga? But he also tries to inquire, is there anything much better than that? And for which he comes to Adhyatma, listens to Satshastra, listens to Brahma, Jiva, their Aikya, etc. And because he listens to that, tasya of him vakshamana ritya, as it has been explained earlier, vivekaha jayate. He will gain viveka. He will have that discrimination. Okay, that which I am pursuing, that which I am after, is not going to be helpful for me. Therefore, I should give up desire for pleasures available here and hereafter and pursue Brahmajnana. Tatha vivekaha yasya bhavati. In this way, the one who will discriminate, sa eva jidnyasuhu. He becomes a jidnyasu, an inquisitive person, the one who is desirous now of knowing Brahman. Mukta, they are totally in different plane, in different category. So we will go to them later, but let's stop here right now. Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.